Hello, people. My name is Detroit Miracle, and I'm coming back to you from at home and on the spot. Folks, a lot of these things that happen, they want to happen, and they being those that are presiding over the masses, or they think they preside over people. Yes, you know who I'm talking to, the very, very wealthy and politically affiliated. I was just watching a story on the internet about two representatives of the people who were ousted from that positioning or their positionings because they stood up against gun control, or rather, they wanted to lobby on behalf of gun control, and they did it in a public type of demonstration. It was two black guys and a white lady. Yeah, they all stood hand in hand in that type of display against gun problems in America, where people are being killed, and not just involving mass shootings, but shootings in general, because there are so many people who are killed each and every day from guns, not from knives, not from axes, not from chains, but guns. On the reports, it is stated that there is more gun related killings or shootings than any other type of bad stuff that happened. They put gun violence at a high level, like number one or something like that, and they put automobile accidents at number two. So on average, there is more killings with firearms than there are from auto accidents. And that is crazy. It is insane. And this stuff goes on each and every day, and it's being allowed to happen. Yeah. And there are preventatives, but the so-called powers that be do not want that to happen. They do not want gun gun violence and gun deaths to stop, because they are not doing enough to prevent it from happening. Yeah. And it's like I've been saying, a lot of these bad things happen that they want to happen because of obvious reasons, such as population control. Most of these killings and shootings happen in the inner city, and they involve black people and brown people. So the powers that be do not care as much. They turned a blind eye to that. And those same powers do not care if a lot of white people are killed and shot. Think about that incident that happened in Las Vegas, say 4 or 5 years ago, if I have it right, where it was this armed gunman who had, and he had a whole armament of bullets and assault style weapons, and he rented a hotel room right across the street from where a country western type of concert was happening. And this guy killed a lot of people. He killed a lot of white people, white bystanders, innocent people that did nothing. And even after that happened, they didn't lobby on behalf of gun violence being prevented, stopped, and revoked entirely. Everything just went on like nothing had happened. There was a lot of funerals happening in the coming weeks, which resulted from that shooting, but nevertheless, everything went on just the way it always been. If you study history, that has always been the case. Go back thousands of years, and then you will find that there has always been wars, conflicts, robberies, killings. But way back then, it was knifings instead of gunshot victims. It was a lot of stabbings instead of shootings. But there's always been robberies. There's always been murders. There's always been wars. There's always been prostitution. There's always been gambling. Yes, people. And you will find that all of that is happening here and now in this day and age because it is tradition. Yes, those such things were looked at and labeled as vices, and those such vices has always or have always been around, and they are to this day. It's crazy. It's very crazy, but it's true at the same time. And the gun deaths and gun violence, the mass shootings, the maniacs running around killing, and then you got people killing other people, people harming children, people harming old people. This guy is going around raping elderly women, which is crazy and unheard of. Like, people are doing crazy stuff, and it seems like it has gotten much crazier. Yeah, and they are accepting more things than they have accepted in the past. But that is another story. Yeah, there's been a lot of talk recently about these female college basketball players celebrating on the court, and people was up in arms about that. It was supposedly a national championship game where the parties involved had celebrated with hand gestures, but when the white girl did it, no one had a problem with it. But when a black girl did it, it was all of a sudden frowned on, and it was appalling. It was offensive. There were so many writers like having taken offense to it. But things like that happen with trash talking and people celebrating, and it is a small matter compared to the much, much serious things that are going on and happening. I mentioned that incident amongst those college players, but I didn't really want to talk about it because there is much more serious, dire things of a grim nature that are happening out there that was always happening, and people tend to do that. They tend to focus more on the smaller things than the major things. They get up in arms over basketball players celebrating and trash talking, but they have no problem with racism going on, sexism going on, murders going on, robberies, killings, accidents, and natural cause disasters. They should put all of their energy into the most serious issues that involve their very lives and happen around them, rather than putting all their energy into things such as female basketball players trash talking one another and having rivalries. Because when it's all said and done, those two female basketball players are going to go on and have long careers as pros. They say they are amongst the best women that are playing the game now. So they're going to go on and become millionaires. They're going to be able to play overseas and in America. They're going to get endorsement deals and make a lot of money. So why worry about that? Why worry about them that way? It's crazy. Like I said, things like that aren't serious matters to me and other people, but there are a lot of people that make a big deal out of those things that happen. I got a solution. Look, people should focus on the most critical things and critical issues that are happening in a negative way to people in society. Is focus on that, focus on ridding the world of that first and foremost. Yeah, that's what I think, that's what I feel. Exactly. Well, folks, thanks for joining me for this discussion, and I'd appreciate it if you would give me those likes, comments, and please subscribe to my channel.